Hello there. So in this video, I want to have a closer look on the new Adobe FireFly AI. We'll look on what features available, what's coming, and how to use, as well how it's compared to other services like Stable Diffusion, MidJourney, or other things. But before we jump in this, for those who maybe did not expect Adobe have it AI out generation, I'll let you know, actually Adobe done for a long time work with AI. And one of them was introducing a Sensei, which is actually built inside the Photoshop. Whatever you was done, like intelligent content replacement inside the Photoshop or narrow filters, other things, it actually was utilizing already their own engine of AI. So Adobe, well established on a graphic platform with AI. It's not something new. I was actually surprised that they did not actually produce this early, so they produce now. And you actually can go and check for adobe.com Sensei. You find here Sensei, the tools that utilize in analysis of the web, graphical generative AI, for example, when they can go and create vector and other things. So they've done this before. And no surprise with all popularity of generating art with AI now, they're actually finally, we can say that here. So let's look what it is. Currently, keep it in mind, it's a release as an open beta. It's meaning anybody can apply for this beta, and when you have it granted access to you, then you can go experiment build. It is free right now. I highly expect it probably will be part of the Adobe pack maybe when you paid. However, it could be separate fees. I'm not sure how they will handle there, but currently it is free for you to try to test everything. And because it's a beta, something is not available, something is not yet right working. So let's look right now. Here's our main page, and you notice you have your home, gallery, about, and additional option properties that you can go. You also can join the forum or Discord to share with other creators and other access. Right here, what we have it's a text to image. We are familiar with this. Many free services and paid services available online. We'll check this in a second. Another one is text effect. So you actually can create text. And this is a little bit different because one of the biggest problems when people try to create text with Stable Diffusion or MidJourney or other things, it's a little bit tricky to do this. We'll see how they will handle this. So let's go ahead. Next, what we have it's coming soon, the vector. And for them to create vector, I don't think it will be that complex because they already provide this. And overall, if you look on the image, what image it is producing raster graphics. Vector, we have it gradients, we have it information, and if you know about Adobe Express that you can use it online for free, it's offer already conversions from PNG or from the raster graphics to vector. So they already have this technology built in just a matter of time when they integrated all of this together. And most likely this is already done. They just rolling slowly in. Don't want to overwhelm the servers and how much it's used. It's actually probably stress load right now going on. Okay, so let's go see what we have. This is a 3 on top. 2 currently available, text to image and text effect. Well, let's go down. Notice you have some explorations if you want to look. See what other people done, use it prompts. We'll look on this in a second. And this is other options is coming below. So they kind of selling explorations. But if you've done before with another like Dall-e, MidJourney, Stable Diffusion, you will be very familiar with some of this. In painting, it's when you have an image, you can use a brush to just mask what area you want it, and it will render over. So we're familiar with this. Personalized result, it's more when you use it to your photo or something, so it's image to image kind of transfer. You also have it text to vector. This is kind of interesting. I want to see what this come up. It's probably will have it something work with the technology. And interesting, I actually do want to see how they work with vector. They may be even more clever to create this one, but that one is interesting to see. Next, canvas extension, and this is more you're familiar with like Dall-e out painting, kind of going on. 3D to image. This is probably image to image based, but because if you're familiar, the Adobe acquire some of the applications with creating 3D. And actually, in fact, Photoshop still have it 3D inside. Almost nobody use it, and if I'm right, it discontinue. But the engine is there to use it 3D. So here you have it 3D that you can utilize it based on this. You generate it. Technically, it probably will be, if you're familiar with ControlNet, Open Pose, something similar only with 3D object built inside. You can position and use it. So this is nothing new. How I said, the one is text to vector interesting, text to pattern. It's done same before, and actually one other service that available currently online, and you can use it. It's called with Poly, which is a PBR text to create it. But beside creating PBR, right here you uploaded your image. It does not need to be seamless, and you can go to other options to kind of patch in and make repeatable pattern as well. And that service also for free. You can go a little bit higher version, but generic you can use it for free. So this is text to pattern. It's not that new or unique to them, so other ones already produced and it can access for free. We have a text to brush. The Adobe did before applications, and it was very good on mobile when you can create your own brushes, so that could be interesting. Again, it's conversion from this. Sketch to image, we're familiar if you work with Stable Diffusion. You can take your picture, put it. Actually, I have some video. I will put a link below for you to see how you can create from sketch to the image by utilizing like MidJourney or Stable Diffusion, so it's not new. And text to template. This is probably will be more integrations with Adobe Express. So overall, it is nice extension, and I want to see how they will implement them. And it's good product. The one thing what is kind of interesting to this, that Adobe is huge corporation. They have a lot of money, a lot of engineers behind that. So if they're big, they have it like step into this industry, they usually create very solid and nice products. So we'll see what that will bring to us. Okay, let's go now top. Before we jump text to image, I want to look on the text effect because it's a little bit different. So what we're going to do is click on generate, and we'll come to, of course, Adobe Beta. Because it's beta, they will notify you that you cannot use it like for some bad stuff. You cannot do pornographic. You can do it's very restricted. They also have it all built-in filters that verified. From my experiments, here's the text prompt does not work. Sometimes give it a lot of false effect. So it says use it inappropriately words that I don't know what word was inappropriately, but we'll touch this in a second. Okay, so right here when you start, you can skip, but overall what is here, it's tell you that it's collecting data for you. It's a user guidelines. It's tell you what you can do, what not. And limitation, one of the most important limitation, it's beta. You cannot use it for any commercial work. So it is just to test, just to share, showing kind of, but again, this is not commercial use. Keep this in mind. This is just to play around. Okay, let's go ahead, click down. And right here, you'll notice you have it all of this in kind of pre-built examples that you can use it. Some of them very nice. And one thing what to me, I feel some like you can see going around, but sometimes they feel like almost cut off templates. So let's try this. Right here, we have it our intertext. And let's go try Firefly. Let's go this one. By the way, I like Firefly TV show. I don't know if you like that or not. And so what we're going to do, Candy and the robots. I don't know, we'll just try this. And let's go click generate. And right here you can see it starts generating text for this. Basic, which is kind of nice. I do like how it stepped out. In some examples, it was like almost cut off, which does not look very good. Here you can see we're actually generating nice on a transparent background. We have several options we can look through. And I do like a little bit overlap. So in some fonts, when I was trying, it's almost look like it's generated on background and cut off letters. But in this case, you can see the edges and everything. It's look like it's a real render. This is very nice and very unique option because from experience with other AI, I don't think any other generation can create that yet. So this is a very, very cool option to do. Okay, so right here we have it, our options, and as usual, they created 4 different versions. I do not know for some reason, but everyone all offer by default 4 different versions. So we can go through all these versions if we need it. On the right side, we have a simple effect. Click on View All if you want preview, and this is already predefined effects that you can kind of use it. Text effects, we have a tight, medium, loose. So this is a loose. It's kind of interesting because medium, you can see how we're going around. If we click on a loose, we just take again re-render. And this part, I little bit don't like it because I notice in some cases, if you select options, it starts to render. I prefer them allowed me to select multiple options, and after click on render, that will save actually time on rendering, because many times you want set options and click render, instead re-render every time when you even just not yet done. And you can see us here, because it's loose, we have it way more items around, which is nice. And of course we have it our background. Okay, below we have a different type of the fonts. Let's preview, and this is what they're allowed right now. Probably in the future we'll have access to more fonts in this case. Background, currently it's a transparent. We can select any other background if you work with your other presets or set. Most likely right now it does not really link with your Creative Cloud, but I have a strong feeling in the future they integrate it more with Creative Cloud, so you actually can take work or whatever you've done before, photos, whatever, import here and use it on top of this. I have a strong feelings that is probably what will going to happen in the future. Of course, we have it all the styles, and when we're done, we can go ahead and save this font. Of course, if we click down right in a corner, it's kind of hiding a little bit download, so you have an option download, or you can click on options and submit to FireFly gallery, copy on a clipboard, or report. Report, again, it is if inappropriate or something happened here. If you are in a beta, I will strongly recommend to you just give it this thumbs up if you like this, what is created, because if you click on thumbs up, you'll notice right here come up in a feedback. So you can also tell them, does it get closer what you want or not? This help to training, because this is training deep learning model, and what's happening on your feedback, it's establish those weights and let know model if it's doing right. I recommend for you to do this. So I like it. I think it's closer to what I wanted for this short prompt, and I submitted feedback. So again, just provide kind of work with this. So we're here. Let's go ahead. One thing on download. This has come up with this special menu, and notice what it says. It says Transparency AI. So what it does, it's actually will create image and embed information inside. In a second, we're going to look what information is actually embedded inside Adobe. Before we're going to this, let me step back and says one thing. It's about pre-COVID time, you know, in a BC time, before COVID, on Adobe Max, the one was introducing, and they was saying that there was initiative to embed information inside the photos when they retouch to Photoshop. You see right now it's a problem with AI, but it was before when people take photos, retouching and post it as original and people don't know. So Adobe come up with this to trace all steps. And personally, I am both hands for this. I enable on my machine. So it's meaning any photo when you take from me, you can actually see what editing was done on these photos. And here's what they do. They embedded all this information to tell, hey, this is created by AI. This is what you're using. This is how it was done. I'm for that transparency for the information. Of course, it will pop up all the time. You can say, don't show this. But for now, I'll just keep it. And when it's done, we'll click on continue. Okay, to read data after save file, I'm just going to metadata2go.com. It's free reader. So we'll just take the file that was created and saved and uploading for the information. So let's go ahead over the information that's stored. And by the way, if you don't know, in file, in a header, if you look, you have a special area where you can save information. And you can save a lot of information. And one time I was playing, and you can store literally megabytes of information in the header in the image. So right here, what we have it. Notice right there, we have a C2PA created, so it's information. URL, it's an inform actually embedded what action what was creating. Also, you can see it's Adobe generated AI. We have it information for the URL, how it was created. Inside the next, let's go ahead, our beat, normal information, type of the image. Here we have it claim generator, so we have it all the information as well. Provide for us who was generated, what is generator, and all costs, all this application will read. One thing, keep it in mind, it does not stop people who does not want to have the information. You can open, you can actually erase that information from the file. You can do all this stuff. This information does not stop people who want to fake and everything. This is just to help honest people to share information. Okay, so let's go next. We have it right here, description, Adobe FireFly. File name, it was created. And G, we also have it instance ID. This is probably related to generator ID, so it can be tracked directly to the image, which is actually very good for the future when going commercialized work or something. We'll see how it's worked, but you can trace to the originator owner who when it was generated. Okay, next we have it, of course, right here, another label type. So overall, it's all the information just right here. You can see it does inform it was done with Adobe FireFly, and it's where it was produced and all this additional information. So not any super secret information about who was creating about you. So it does not have your personal information, does not have anything. The closest things what I was thinking as personal information can be, it's this one, instant ID, because if it's a unique number tracked to the when created, they may be referred to the database inside the generator that may identify who originally created, but without accessing to this data, that is very non-personal data stored inside the image. Okay, so this is, let's go back now to our preview, and this is text image. Of course, we can create multiple different images here with different format, different font, and this is, I think, very fun stuff to do, and I definitely will use it more to create specific font. I see big use for that because it's very, very nice ones. Okay, let's go back now. And now what I want to do is going back again and look a little bit closer on the text to image. Before we jump to text to image, other area where you can explore is going inside the gallery, because in gallery you can see what other people was created. When they share a specific image, you can preview. You also can notice right here when you go over, it says try prompt. So if you click, it will take this prompt and transfer you to text the image, similar what done with other applications. Okay, let's go back now, back again. Okay, to our text to image, we'll just click on generate, and this is very similar to what we have before. Remember, you can have a text, put it, we can use it prompt, the display. I wish they sent me to the already where I can create it. Instead, they brought me to the screen where I can preview and use it. It's probably UI will change when we're going to use more as real time, but right now let's go ahead and say steampunk city. So I'll just have it very primitive, click generate, and you notice right now what's happening. It says prompt too short. It's kind of nice because it is help you utilize, and I was using also ChatGPT to create the prompt, so you can do this. And by the way, when I create those prompts, one comment says, hey, word you try to use, it's not right word. We'll look in a second how it's come up, and you can notice, let's check first the interface before we jump to this. So right here, it's created my steampunk city images. On the right side, if we look, we have it our aspect ratio. This is pre-default. It's portrait square widescreen, so it's a pre-default. Most likely we'll see in the future more of the different format, maybe even flexible, I don't know, but most likely same like if you do in Photoshop, and when you create new document, you have it always different. Most likely it will increase. Currently, again, it's all in beta. We have it content type 9, graphics, photo, and art. So those are separations. None is a basic. If we're using photography, it will be more photorealistic things. Below we have its styles. One thing what I don't like, it's try to get smart and kind of tell me popular or whatever styles. I wish it's kind of remember, because sometimes I notice it does reset. So it's called all styles. And here we can see specifically steampunk, science fiction, steam, or all this other type included, pixel art and whatever. Remember, if you used prompts before with the other ones like MidJourney or other things, those prompts can work here. And you don't necessarily need to use styles if you specify. So for example, if I have it steampunk, you know what, let's go ahead and type a little bit longer, so it's let me know it's not low fog, thick clouds, and what else, dramatic clouds, and air balloons. So we'll just put it like this. Okay, I should fix this one, and let's go just disable art from this. Let's go on top. I think this is work, and we'll just select landscape mode. Notice again, sometimes what is interesting, I notice if you select on some areas, it's a kind of trigger. Some of them will trigger to render, and some of them don't. Kind of inconsistency, because I would prefer if it's just going with a button here. Okay, none. So we created this type. Of course, if I go up front and same type pixel art, let's go try this, generate. Notice it's actually generating quite a bit fast. And I think this is part of the introduce beta users to this, to have it more and more load on the servers. As well, if you look all over, you see no sizes, no different in size. So you always render with one, and it's about smallest is 1024. If you have it widescreen, it's increasing, but again, it's 1024, the smallest side to render. I expect in the future, if they're integrating more with like Adobe Express, which is have it resizing in, so it's probably will have it something similar. So right here, you can see I have a pixel art up front, and it does work as a pixel art, so it does read. Another options, if you want, you can go with the styles, and let's go style, find our pixel art right here. Actually, it's a theme. If I click, look on the bottom, we have it right there, clear style or theme pixel art. So let's go ahead and generate this so we can compare to that. And with this style or theme, you can see it's rendered a little bit more interesting looking, but I don't know if it's real pixel art, because I don't, in other case when I created it did create almost like a pixels looking a little bit better with prompt, and right here is not necessarily pixel art. I will go call this more cell shading type or illustrations than pixel art. So some of this does not work. However, we can look on all different styles. Let's go click all. For example, synthwave, let's go try with this, generate. And you can definitely see applying of the styles. So I do like this. I like how many styles in different themes they have it. So you can use all of this, included different techniques. And this is good actual separations, because many times what's happening with other, you're going and they mix together, and I found this very hard to use when they mix together, because you have it your styles, you have it themes, and you have it techniques, because like what is watercolor versus steampunk, it's two different things. One is tell what is a type or to this, and another one's techniques, what is using or drawing lines or other things. And also they have it effects and isometric. Isometric, it's kind of interesting, so let's go ahead use it this way, and I'll show you same things. You don't necessarily can use the styles, you can put it in. So if I take isometric and put it up front, we'll have it more render as isometric. And right here you can see it does not necessarily using the style. And if I disable, let's go and just put it up front as isometric, let's go ahead render. And you can see this is definitely have it much more impact on creating. So the styles, the will effect, but I don't think the weights is properly adjusted yet, because again, that is a beta kind of developing. And to my opinion, if I go and select isometric from the type, okay, let me go right here. So if I go to, where's my isometric? Should be in effects right here. Yep, isometric and effects. If I select from here, this should have it more weight than me going and typing in, because type in definitely created as a metric versus this. So it is, they still need to work with some other elements, but you can see it's a very good effect. And again, you notice as I rendered before, it's collapsed and it is still be kind of in beta. It should be, if I say open, it should just display me all of them and let me choose in this case. We also have a content type, and this works very well with if you want illustrations or photo. Okay, so let's go ahead and look on some other examples. Right here, beautiful ice queen close-up portraits. It's kind of okay. We're going with none. Let's go switch to the graphics. Notice again, when I switch the content type, it is switching kind of render. I wonder if it's switch also to the different training model, most likely. If it's that case, it probably have a content type will be changed as well. So this is again illustration, which is more what I was going after, more fairy tale kind of look. Let's switch on the photo. This is probably going to the model with more photorealistic effect to create it. And you can see right here we have a portrait. And of course the art, it's more going with illustrations, maybe even painting slightly effect. And you can see right here, definitely it's what applied. One thing I wish it was kind of save history. Personally, I don't see anywhere that I can go and preview images that I render. I wonder if they even save them or they discard for the space. In case of the discarded, that possibly in the future it will integrate maybe with your cloud or some other ways, but I wish there was saving this here so I can preview directly those styles. Instead, you actually need to go ahead, click and preview them. Beside the content type, let's go ahead, we'll just select steampunk. Notice I select movement steampunk. You can select multiple as you need it, they add as a tags. And we're going to generate. This time I need to click generate. So inconsistency a little bit in UI, it does create small effect when you try it. So the create there, not that big different. I think it does increase a little bit on the luminosity level, brightness, contrast a little bit. So let's go ahead right here. So we'll select one. Notice we have it on the back, and if we go in images, you have it options. You have it similar, so it will take this image and create variations of this image. We also have it same things as before. You can submit to gallery, report, or download it. So let's go ahead and click on create similar, and that's what does it take this image and probably using same random seed to create all these different multiple images for similarity, which is kind of very nice. Again, you cannot upscale, you cannot do a lot of stuff there, but it is produced very nice. Okay, let's go down below. Right here you can see we have it also color, which is can apply black and white, muted color, warm color. So it's all filters overall. Lighting, it's kind of interesting because you have it your backlight, dramatic, golden hour. In some cases I found it does not work well. In some cases it's work not bad at all. So again, we'll go studio lighting here. And composition, if you look, it is supposed to be with a lens like depth of field, wide look, panoramic or close up. So we can actually going with a little bit more on a close up or photography. In some cases I was playing around and I created like a macro, so you can do this as well. So let's go ahead and click generate for this. And we can see some little bit more close up on the face. Won't be so big different because we're already there. You need to rework a little bit on the text to create slightly different view. Okay, so on the next text, what I'm going to do, I create right here, write visual descriptions of the landscape, all this stuff for me, and we're going to copy this, paste inside our prompt. So let's go ahead, clear up styles, we'll go paste text inside and click generate. And look right here, this is what's happening. Its comment says can load one or more words validated FireFly user guide. The problem this one, it's text generated by ChatGPT, which filter does not allow bad words, does not allow all of this stuff. And worst of all, I don't know right here in this all text what word is bad. So it's very not right feedback. I already share feedback about this. I already kind of submit because it's beta, how I said. I wish here it's come and tell me, hey, or highlight words and says this is not proper to words, or what does it select it, why it's create this. So I have it no feedback currently right now with all this, for example, long description. I just need guess. I don't know what's going on there, but general, and probably you'll see the monkey even do like this. I don't know what's going on there. So on this case, I think this need to be reworking with the prompt. But I noticed that problem is not just here. Same with the MidJourney. When you do some words with MidJourney, MidJourney same says, hey, you know what, you used an appropriate word, and some of those words should be appropriate. I don't know how they select them, but there's things what I was telling you about. It does have a little bit check in on the words or other things. Okay, and here's kind of overview what is FireFly this at the stage. Compare the images generated from my experience. They are not bad. They're not up to MidJourney or Stable Diffusion when you tweak stuff yet level, but knowing how much power and everything behind Adobe, it's very good. The most important, those images or models that they train on, they're probably very safe and using with permissions of the artist on this. This is a little bit more worried about copyright, about respecting of other artists and wishes. And artists is different. For example, I'm freely says I have it terabytes of the photography when I done to all my 40-30 years of the work. More than welcome use them on trained models. I'm freely open to this, and it's so many artists to this. People who does not like this, it's their own choice. They maybe don't want it, which is fine with this. And I'm sure that Adobe a little bit better on this on copyright. And again, keep in mind, it's a big player in a game right now. And this is just the beginning. If they can keep on doing this, if they don't give up, it could be very, very good, excellent tools to use. And I'm definitely can go in using this textiles because it's very fun. You see how it's integrated and everything. It's very nice tool. I hope you found this video interesting and educational, just showing what's going on right now with Adobe FireFly. You're more than welcome. Try it going in about, and you can go apply for the beta to go to try this. Just go to generative, join beta, submit your information, and they are rolling in more and more creators there to try it and see how it's work, feedback, what's going on. Thank you for watching this video. If you like it, thumbs up, subscribe. It's helped me a lot if you support this channel, and have a great time.